Hey guys, well, since I've already reviewed the first, second, third, and fourth Tremor movies, so it's only fitting that I reviewed the latest one in the series now, since it's out now. As of course, Tremors 5, Bloodlines. So Tremors 5, Bloodlines is set after the third movie, not the fourth movie though, since that one was a prequel set in Western times. However, I don't know if it's connected to the TV series though, because they don't reference the show at all. So I don't know if it's ignoring the show or not, but I'm not too sure. You can probably just judge for yourself. So this one's set after the third movie, set years later, and our hero Burt Gummer from the other movies is back, played by Michael Gross respectively, and he's gotten older since the previous movie. So he's still living in Nevada and filming some like survivalist videos. But then the day comes where he meets Travis Welker, his new cameraman for his videos. He's played by Jamie Kennedy, and coincidentally that day they get this call from this animal protection agency from Africa because they got some ass blaster sightings there. And so Burt takes the job to hunt the ass blasters, and he obviously knows that graboids will be there too, since the ass blasters lay eggs that hatch into the graboids. So he goes on his little monster hunt to Africa, but only to find out that these form of graboids and ass blasters aren't the ones that he's used to. Like, these ones are a little more evolved than the ones from the previous movies, the ones that he's hunted. So, not knowing much about these ones, he has to basically eliminate all these ones before they multiply, and before, like, the people in that area in Africa all get killed. So, that's basically like the premise of this one. So, like, how does this one hold up compared to the other ones? This one itself, it's pretty good. I won't lie, this one's pretty good too. Another good entry to the series. However, much like the other sequels, it's not perfect. So, like, one thing that definitely really bothered me was, like, the effects in this one were just all done with just CGI. There was no practical effects at all. I mean, I understand that, like, CGI is cheaper and it's also faster to do than practical effects. But at the same time, come on, I mean, like, all the effects in, like, these other movies, I mean, like, there was no CGI in the first movie because there wasn't really much CGI going on at that time. However, there was some CGI in the other movies. However, they still used practical effects in the other movies. And heck, even the show, this over here, the show had some practical effects. I mean, it did have CGI too, but there were times it did use practical effects. But this one only used CGI though. And, like, the CGI was kind of a mixed bag. I mean, the CGI in this show, I mean, I'm going to say it wasn't good, but, like, at the same time, they still used some practical effects, and, like, this one I can actually let slide because it's a show, so with, like, with a show, you don't really have that big or that good of a budget to work with, so you gotta really work with a small budget, like, do what you can with that kind of budget. And, like, yeah, this is a low budget too, but, like, the budget with this compared to this, I mean, this one's got, like, bigger budget than this, so it's not really that acceptable. I mean, like, yeah, I get it's low budget, so, like, they gotta work with something like that, so, but I mean, the CGI, most part, was kind of mixed. Like, there was times it wasn't that good, but there was times it was pretty good for what they had. I was just kind of bothered that they just used CGI. I think they could have used some practical effects. And also, Michael Gross and Jamie Kennedy didn't really have that much chemistry. They had, like, little to no chemistry. They were kind of, like, supposed to be like this buddy team a bit, like, working together to kill the graboids and ass blasters. Another thing also, like, was kind of a slight downhill for me was like since we saw like these evolved versions of the Graboids and evolved version of the Ass Blasters, like because they're different because it's in Africa, not in America. However, we didn't see what the Shriekers would look like in Africa, though. Excuse me. But that was only like a minor downfall for me, though. I mean, I did like, however, like there were scenes that took place at night, so it's like since the Ass Blasters see an infrared that was established in the third movie. So like we saw them hunting at night because obviously the temperatures are different in Africa, so they're kind of like nocturnal bit in this place. So like they hunt at night that way. Like there's not much heat going on. There's only like heat from its prey. So that was actually a pretty interesting idea, and it was executed pretty good too. There was also scenes that were set in a cave, so I really liked all this stuff. Like all the locations shootings were actually pretty good. And also like the actors themselves do a pretty good job. Like all the actors are actually pretty good in this movie. And Jamie Kennedy, there was times he was pretty funny, at times he was kind of annoying though. And there's also another thing that I didn't really like is that since the other movies had more than one character from the previous movies, like there was two of the same characters in the second movie, and there was of course one character from the previous movies in the third one. However, there was a character from the first movie having a cameo in the third movie, so they've had like more than one character from the previous movies in the sequels. But this one, only one character, just Bert, is the only returning character. But however, he did mention his ex-wife Heather in one scene, his ex-wife from the first movie. So I like that little nod right there, because we haven't really heard much of his ex-wife since like the second movie. And I know there's other stuff too. So I'm gonna say, like, this one was definitely a pretty fun movie, and I also did like the way like the Ass Blasters and the Graboids were getting killed. So like pretty good death scenes from them. So oh, another thing that also bothered me, I just remembered, was we didn't even see the town of Perfection in this one. This is like the only one where we never see Perfection, because it's set in Perfection in the first movie, and we only see Perfection just for a little bit in the second movie, and we see Perfection in the third movie. And we all see it in the fourth movie, although it's a different name, Rejection, and also the show was set in Perfection. But this one, the town's not in it at all. So, nothing wrong there. So, like, I did, of course, like the designs for the Graboids and the Ass Blasters, and one thing I also thought was pretty cool, since remember those snake-like tongues that the Graboids had? Like, those ones now detach from the Graboids, so they actually can come right out of his mouth and slither on their own now, so that whole thing was actually pretty cool. And there were scenes that were pretty intense, so it had some pretty good tension. So all in all, this is another good entry in the series. Not my favorite one still, but another good entries, and it's also a pretty good track record for the Tremors movies as well. So not one movie is bad in the series. Every single one of them is good. And that's really all I gotta say. So, check it out, guys. Tremors 5, Bloodlines. Alright, guys. That's it for this video. See ya.